I wish I could blame the failure of this movie on some white people, but sadly, niggas fucked this up. That's my biggest issue. You niggas took away the race card. How could you?
To this day,
Rich people don't sleep 8 hours a day.
That's stupid. Use your common sense.
Hello, Bushido Spirit. Movie review, Harriet. A lot of controversy surrounding this film. A lot of people hate it. Some people like it. Just mixed, different opinions. Was this movie good? Was this movie bad? Does the hate mob have a point? You'll find out in this review. But before I continue, like, comment, and sub to the channel. We do TV show and movie reviews. On top of that, we have a weekly podcast. Let's get right into it. Harriet is the biopic of heroic Underground Railroad conductor Harriet Tubman. She gave passage to more than 300 slaves and did not lose a single one. I believe this is her first mainstream feature-length film. It's directed by Casey Lemons. Her most notable work is Eve Bayou, which she directed over 20 years ago. God damn. Her latest work was Black Nativity, which was a terrible Christian musical. Other things to note, this film is starring up-and-coming star Cynthia Erivo. The film just did okay at the box office. The budget was extremely low, like $17 million, and they probably made that back in a single weekend. But given who this film is about, those numbers should be higher. I blame the trailer. That shit looked like a made-for-TV movie. On top of the mediocre box office, the word of mouth was mixed. A lot of controversy surrounding the film. The creators took too many liberties. Every biopic does, but when you do it to such a beloved figure with an already compelling story, one that hasn't had a film before, you lose a bunch of people. So I had to watch this movie for myself. The rage on social media forced me to see it. That angry hate mob did what the trailer could not. And it wasn't bad or good, just middle of the road. I wasn't anxious to see it end, just indifferent. Like a movie you play in the background. Nothing stood out to me. Just your typical biopic, all the same tropes. However, the story starts with Harriet's two sisters being sold to another master. This, along with other things, motivated her to run away. So the movie wastes no time in getting started. 10 minutes in and Harriet is making her escape. We never get to see Harriet as a child, know the day-to-day life of servitude, or how she received her scar. Usually those parts of the movie are key to understanding the character, and without substantial flashbacks, everything in this movie feels disingenuous. Knowing slavery was bad is different from seeing it. Also, we never learn how she became good at navigation. Instead, they make her clairvoyant. No bullshit, she can predict the future. Like Raven Simone, she's the original X-Men, some magical Negro given powers from God. And this is a continuous theme throughout the movie. Harriet was the top conductor of the Underground Railroad because of God, period. Not because her father taught her how to read the sky as a compass, or that her determination and strength guided her. No, it was fate. Whenever she has trouble finding the way, or when slave catchers are hot on her trail, she uses her disability as a superpower, like Kanye West. That dent in her head wasn't a hindrance, it was a blessing. God made her master fracture her skull to help her see the future. This was just one of many liberties they took. And I take no action against making shit up or exaggerating to enhance the narrative, but they made the least desirable choices. I'd rather seen Tubman kill some slave catchers. The only two people that die in the movie are black freed men, one of which was this made up slave catcher people are losing their shit over. Her actual fictional story is better than the movie's interpretation. No mention of her meeting John Brown or Frederick Douglass. We only get one scene of her during the Civil War. And though we spend the majority of the film seeing her free slaves, not much suspense to be had in those scenes. Some other changes they made. Her husband was against her leaving. That's why she left him behind. But in the movie, he's this concerned lover who was abandoned by Harriet, forced to remarry. Now everyone is aware that there are some Sambos that existed at the time. black people that only wanted to stay quiet and tell. Snitches. So I'm not angered by the existence of a black slave catcher in this movie. I just don't know why he's here, outside of being comic relief. The main antagonist is Harriet's former master. He is as 2D as 2D gets. A fucking cartoon villain that's one note, who says shit like, a good slave is like a good pig. Sooner or later you'll have to eat it or sell it. And my favorite, the classic, the Lord don't listen to And when he's not being super racist, his lines are a dialogue tree of degrading phrases like, you'll never make it. I don't ever want to hear your name again. These lines only exist to give you that triumphant feeling when Harriet defies his beliefs. This movie is just so middle of the road, not bold enough to excite you and not sharp enough to keep you interested. And that's pretty sad. I feel bad for Cynthia Erivo. She did a great job. She just wasn't given much to work with. The same can be said for all the actors and actresses. Also, Janelle Monáe is in this, and she has probably one of the most hilarious scenes ever. She was being beaten by a slave catcher. When he stopped, she just kept on talking, like Harriet's #1 fan. You evil and wicked. Harriet will show you. And the guy leaves, then comes back and kills her. It's like she wanted him to kill her. Get off me, you evil, wicked demon. Wait, where are you going? Come back. I need to die so Harriet can be motivated. The shit is hilarious. And it's not meant to be hilarious. I wish I could blame the failure of this movie on some white people. But sadly, niggas fucked this up. That's my biggest issue. You niggas took away the race card. How could you? That was the only thing that could have made me feel better. Warm my cold and black heart. With all that being said, I have no ill will towards Casey Lemons. I hope she gets another chance in the future, but this was not it. You don't make a PG slave movie. That's a no-no.